into my second career after I retired. I'm very happy about that. And as I mentioned, I worked a lot of different jobs. But those of you who know me know that I'm an investigator at heart. That's really what it's all about for me. I had a great time in DVD, in homicide, but probably the most impactful job I had during my career was working in cold case, professionally and then also in my personal life. It was one of the best experiences I could have ever had. And I'm very grateful, and I saw that there were several different families that came to support me today. I couldn't tell you how much that means to me. I know in doing this work, we talked about unsolved cases that we have. Last I checked, we have about 300 unsolved homicides since the 1960s. And so as you can imagine, you have a lot more failures than you do with success. There's a lot of families that haven't gotten any answers, haven't gotten any justice. And there's a few occasions where we've been fortunate to be able to work together as a team with a lot of different people, a lot of different agencies to bring some answers. But I want to share with you, throughout my years, I'm reminded of a case when we think about failures. Several years ago, the Rashawn Stone case. He was a young 19-year-old black male, and he was shot and killed in front of the suspect's house. And he had a picture of his 1-year-old son in his pocket. And when he was found on the street, he had that picture clutched in his hand. And so we worked like crazy to try and solve that case. And we felt like we had. And we took it to trial. And in the end, the jury decided that we hadn't done enough. And those suspects got found not guilty. And there's a couple things that I got out of that. Doing this work and police work in general, you see some of the darkest and the worst sides of human nature. And it can be very depressing and very saddening if you focus on that. But what I've learned to do, and many of us have learned to do, instead of focusing on that, we focus on a lot of these families. Brothers and moms and aunts and uncles and sisters and cousins and coaches of the victims that have passed away. And that's what helps us get through this work. That's what helps us deal with a lot of the failure and the negativity. There's two things, though, that I took from that experience that really helped me get through. And one was the late Dick Vogel. I think there was a picture on the screen earlier during the video where he coined a phrase that we used as our motto for the cold case unit. And it goes like this: Portland cold case, we don't give up. We never give up. And all those times that we struggle and we battle and we fight through, we just remember we got to keep fighting and we're not going to give up. The other thing was, when the verdict came back for that, on that trial, and there was about 30 to 40 family members in there. And as you can imagine, they were devastated. They began crying. They were really hurt. But almost every single one of those family members, as they walked out of the courtroom, they shook our hands and thanked us for all of our hard work and told us that God is going to give them justice and that God is going to punish those that are responsible. And I've taken that with me my whole career, is recognizing that as public servants, which I think all of us in this room are, the core value of public service is recognizing that it's community service, serving our community. That's what it's all about. And that we're just part of something that's a lot bigger than all of us. And so I remind myself of that as I move through my career and as I move through life in my personal life also. And talking about service, I remember talking with some of the retired detectives that we brought back to the cold case unit, because we only had 4 detectives working on all those cases, so we brought back